reaction at the African Union has one been of absolute alarm and shock. And more so, I think, that these statements attributed to the President of the United States of America, making these comparative statements from one group of migrants over another, and comparing them in their desirability and in such vulgar, disparaging, and clearly racist language, is not only dangerous, but frankly unthinkable from the leader or the elected official in the highest office of a land that basically is built on migration. And also, particularly, given the historical reality that many Africans who came to the United States of America came during the Atlantic slave trade and in circumstances that nobody needs to flesh out right now, frankly, is unthinkable. This is not only dangerous for Africans on the African continent, but it's also dangerous for Americans who are of African origin, and also for the greater majority of Americans who have ancestry that is migrant in nature. The very virtues of migration have been brought into question by statements like this. And in the global context of today, this is simply unacceptable on every level.
The United States needs... Sure. Let me just put this to you, because the US, of course, needs to cooperate with a number of African nations on a number of different issues, perhaps the most obvious being issues like counter-terrorism. Do you think this remark that's been attributed to Donald Trump is ever going to be forgiven, Ebba?
I think the pattern of behavior, statements and actions from the Trump administration leaves the African Union and its members more than just a little bit worried. And you talked about the relationship of the United States with African nations around counterterrorism, especially in the Sahel area. This is also the same country that wants to reduce its contributions to the United Nations and particularly to the peacekeeping operations around the world, fully knowing that the majority of UN peacekeeping operations are on the African continent. The United Nations, the United States decision to move its embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem East, flying in the face of long-standing United States and international diplomatic practice around the very particularity of the position of Jerusalem East, is yet just another part of this puzzle that is part of the Trump administration. And frankly, the statement just goes into this. It just works into this pattern of increasingly dangerous unilateral behavior that is isolationist in nature and disparaging to all its partners and the African nations in particular.